I am new to Buddhism, but have been so welcome here. I'm curious to know why men and women are segregated or separated. We got these questions coming up every now and then. You know, you've been here for a number of years. Practically, let me answer your question this way. When we are meditating, if we mix women and men together, since most of us are strangers to each other. You may not know your neighbor, your neighboring person, meditating just about a foot away from you. And they're quite crowded together. You know, they could be a stranger meditating just next to you, your neighboring partner. And then if you're a lady and that guy is a man, and maybe that man, I'm assuming, huh? Hey, this lady looks good. And he bumps on the other side. And he's sort of meditating closer and closer to you, and then so that he touches you. So why do we have to create an opportunity for a stranger to be meditating maybe 1 hour or half an hour, and he will be so close to you that he can touch you? You don't know each other. Why do you want to be so close to a stranger? You may be close to a friend that you know of. But if you're so close to a stranger and you don't know about a stranger, why? Why do you have to do that? And also, in the Buddhist teaching, the Buddha says the basis of reincarnation is sex. And if you the TV or whatever mass communications, what do they concentrate on this day? What do they concentrate on these days? It's either mostly violence or sex. We don't need them anymore in the meditation hall. So women on one side, men on the other side. And there are instances, from my experiences, that strangers do want to meditate close to women. Men want close to women, and maybe women close to a man. Here's a handsome guy. As I said, I met him in the parking lot. He's driving a Ferrari, and I like to know him. He seems to be quite rich. He's driving a Mercedes, coming to meditation, and it looks good. So why? It's good. It's good a way to know a friend. So I want him to be my boyfriend. So he's meditating next to you. So why create all these ideas in mind? So I like to separate them. And also, if you're a male and you're meditating next to a female, if that female wears a perfume or anything like that, that may create some idea in your mind about the opposite sex. So that's not that's what we want to avoid. So that's a practical question. Okay, so we don't separate them because we hate each other. They should hate each other. We want to put them away. No, they're not like that. And if we mix them together, somebody may ask the question, why do you mix them together? They are not supposed to be together for the reasons that I've just explained. So you can win. Every time they always come with this question. In a book on Buddhism, I was reading it, it says, a Buddha creates no karma. Can you explain your thoughts or ideas on this statement? I would like to change it to, a Buddha is beyond karma, is purified from karma. How would a Buddha create karma again? Karma has a negative connotation, mostly. Karma is an accumulation of your thoughts and behavior and speech, good or bad or neutral. And because of this karma, you end up in tribulations, you end up in retribution, cause and effect. So a Buddha would not create bad karma anymore. Neither will a Buddha create good karma. Neither would a Buddha create indifferent, neutral karma. The Buddha is free, is liberated from karma. How can you say the Buddha creates karma again? I think a Buddha is beyond karma. It's purified from karma. I think that's a proper way of answering this. No more karma for him. Next question. Please explain what is on the altar in the meditation room. 4 Buddhas and 2 warriors. 2 warriors? Do you see warriors? Warriors give me the connotation of fighting. They're not warriors. They're protectors of Buddhism. They protect, they defend. They don't attack. They don't attack people. They only defend. In other words, they protect the Buddhist teaching. The 4 Buddhas, the center is Sakyamuni Buddha. On the left, it's Amitabha Buddha. On the right, it's Buddha of medicine. There are only 4 Buddhas. In the center, there's a little statue that is Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Why 3 Buddhas and 1 Bodhisattva? We can put 1,000,000 Buddhas in there. You will become the Buddha. Every sentient being has the potential of becoming the Buddha. We just have the Buddha statue there to symbolize the essence of the Buddhist teaching. Don't attach to form. Don't just judge by appearance to form. However, we cannot be away from form. Away from form, how do you visualize? How do you visualize anything away from form? You don't attach to form, yet you cannot stay away from form, from matter, from visualization. Okay, so there's a simple answer to the questions, and as I said in the beginning, I want to say a little bit more about eyes. We're talking about the 5 eyes. Yesterday I came across an essay which I read the second time, a really good essay written by Helen Keller, the American lady who was living in the beginning of 1880, who was born 1880. Helen Keller, an American. She was blind, deaf, and mute in the same time. No senses of the eyes, no senses of listening, and no senses of talking. So someone like that, she was deprived of all these senses. How could anybody survive if she cannot hear, she cannot talk, and she cannot see? And she became one of the most famous writers in America. Someone who is renowned for her consistency, for her fighting through hardship. And she wrote an essay. It's called 3 Days to See, and she talks a lot more about seeing. And maybe I'll read to you what in the essay is, and that should stimulate your fighting spirit on life. If you're a negative person, if you are an introvert, if you are someone who think that you have no value, you have no existence, you're useless, if you think that you have no values, you exist for nothing, this essay, it is called 3 Days to See. Why 3 days to see? She was imagining, she couldn't see, so if I were given 3 days to see, this is what I would do in my first day, this is what I might do in my second day, this is what I would do in my third day. If she was given 3 days to see only. You were given how many days to see? Since birth. But she treasured the days of seeing because she couldn't see. So if she were she be given an opportunity to see for 3 days, this is what she would do. But first explain in the beginning, before the day 1, what she thought about seeing. Most of us, however, take life for granted. We know that one day we must die, but usually we picture that day as far in the future. When we are in buoyant health, death is all but unimaginable. We seldom think of it. The days stretch out in an endless vista, so we go about our petty tasks, hardly aware of our listless attitude towards life. The same lethargy, I'm afraid, characterize the use of all our faculties and senses. Only the deaf appreciate hearing. Only the blind realize the multiple blessings that lie in sight. Particularly does this observation apply to those who have lost sight and hearing in adult life. But those who have never suffered impairment of sight or hearing seldom make the fullest use of these blessed faculties. Their eyes and ears take in all sights and sound hazily, without concentration and with little appreciation. It is the same old story of not being grateful for what we have until we lose it, of not being conscious of health until we are ill. So this is one paragraph. So you know what it means? We have our faculties, but we don't appreciate it. We take it for granted. In other words, you should be so happy today. How come you're so sad? You can see, you can hear, you can listen, you enjoy life, and how come you're sad and unhappy? How come you don't have a value in life? What happens if you lose your sight? You lose your sound. Now, I'll carry on with this. I have often thought it would be a blessing if each human being was stricken blind and deaf for a few days at some time during his early adult life. Darkness would make him more appreciative of sight. Silence would teach him the joys of sound. Now and then I have tested my seeing friends to discover what they see. So she wanted to test friends of what they can see because she's interested in seeing because she couldn't see. Recently I was visited by a very good friend who has just returned from a long walk in the woods. And I asked her what she had observed. She replied, "Oh, nothing in particular." I might have been incredulous had I not been accustomed to such response. For long ago I became convinced that the seeing see little. How was it possible, I asked myself, to walk for an hour through the woods and see nothing worthy of note? I, who cannot see, find hundreds of things to interest me through mere touch. I feel the delicate symmetry of a leaf. I pass my hands lovingly about the smooth skin of a silver birch or the rough, shaggy bark of a pine. In the spring, I touch the branches of trees, hopefully in search of a bud, the first sight of awakening nature after her winter's sleep. I feel the delightful, velvety texture of a flower and discover its remarkable convolutions, and something of the miracle of nature is revealed to me. Occasionally, if I am very fortunate, I place my hand gently on a small tree and feel the happy quiver of a bird in full sound. I am delighted to have the cool waters of a brook rush through my open fingers. To me, a lush carpet of pine needles or spongy grass is more welcome than the most luxurious Persian rug. To me, the pageant of seasons is a thrilling and unending drama, the action of which streams through my fingertips. See how the blind appreciate everything they see? We can see, we can listen, we have all our faculties intact. Are you not appreciative of them? Or you still feel you are introvert, I'm useless, I have no values, I wanted to commit suicide, I want to take my life. I mean, when you stand in front of Helen Keller, you should be ashamed of yourself. Don't we be ashamed of ourselves if we think that we have no values in life? Let me carry on. At times, my heart cries out with longing to see all these things. If I can get so much pleasure from mere touch, how much more beauty must be revealed by sight? Yet, those who have eyes apparently see little. The panorama of color and action which fills the world is taken for granted. It is human, perhaps, to appreciate little that which we have and to long for that which we have not. But it is a great pity that in the world of sight, in the world of light, the gift of sight is used only as a mere conveniences rather than as a means of adding fullness to life. So we use our faculties as means only. We don't appreciate them. If I were the president of a university, I should establish a compulsory course in how to use your eyes. The professor would try to show his pupils how they could add joy to their lives by really seeing what passes unnoticed before them. So this would go on the first day to see, the first day to see, the second day to see, and the third day to see. I think you should read about this. Anybody who is so negative on life, anybody who does not want to struggle through life, anybody who is afraid of hardship, anybody who stumble and fall and would not want to climb it again and want to die that way, they should really read this essay. How someone who could not see, could not listen, could not talk, could be so famous, could stand out like a rose in life. So talking about eyes, I just remember, seeing what I said about eyes, I just produced this. Maybe we should all read it. 3 Days to See, you can get it from Google, I guess. You don't have to buy the book. And this book is about the most beautiful process in the world. This is in 2 versions. One side is Chinese, the other side is in English. I like to read a lot, so I always venture bookstore. And this I got it about 10 years ago from a bookstore in Hong Kong, in which they have both versions, the Chinese version and the English versions. 3 Days to See. Do not lead a negative life. Be struggling on like Helen Keller, someone who is so courageous in life, so appreciative of life. There are people who don't have the faculties. There are people who have faculties who use them the wrong way. What did they use their eyes for? Watching girls, watching guys. And what did they use their eyes for? What did they use their ears for? Listening to gossip. Be disturbed by gossip. Be annoyed by yelling and shouting. What did they use their speech, their mouth to do? Cursing, lying, slandering. So we misuse our faculties. Not to say using our faculties appreciably. We misuse them in the wrong way.
The Sufis,
yes.
They have a saying, if a pickpocket passes a saint on the street,
yeah,
he only sees pockets.
No, if a pickpocket passes a saint
in the street,
yeah,
he only sees pockets.
He only sees pockets. He didn't see the saint.
He didn't see a saint.
Yeah.
Only pockets.
The problem is not with the saint. The problem is neither with the pocket. It's not because of the pocket. It's because of what? Not the problem with his eyes. It's mine. Yes. It's the same eyes of a pickpocket, the same eyes of a saint. They use it differently. One used to focus on the pocket. The other focuses on the teaching, or how to save people, how to be considerate. So it depends on how you use your mind. That is exactly what we are practicing now, the Buddhist teaching. Any first-time comers, raise your hand. Now you know. This religion is not about worshiping. It's about how do you raise your value, raise your human values. How do you perceive that saintly path? How do you use your faculties properly? How do you understand your own values as well as other values? Yeah, that pickpocket only sees the pocket, not the saint. However, a wise person would say, hey, how come this saintly person walks so sanely and so gracefully? He wants to find out more about it. How come it looks so graceful? He wants to find out about it, not his pocket. So he wants to find more about the saint said, well, I follow the Buddhist teaching. Oh, can I teach? Can I learn the Buddhist teaching? Yes, this is how you can learn the Buddhist teaching. So see 2 differences? There's a difference in approach in life. You walk your own life. You walk it out yourself. You can walk into heaven. You can walk up to heaven. You can, at the same time, you can walk down to hell. You do the walking. You have a selection, you have a choice. Which do you prefer?
Now, the Buddha put it this way. He says, we are not limited by our experience, but by our capacity for experience. So
Yeah.
two people see the same thing, but they don't see the same thing. One is limited by capacity. So it is an encouragement to do as Helen Keller says. Look around.
Yeah.
There's miracles going on all around you.
Yes.
It's impermanent.
So here he got a friend who walked from the wood, walking in the wood for an hour, and said, what did you see? Oh, nothing in particular. How can you say something like that?
And another person would have saw.
Oh, yeah.
Heaven.
I saw the sunset. I saw a butterfly. I saw flowers. It is so worthy of going on onto that trail.
Or do you feel the sunset?
Yeah?
Or do you feel the sunset?
Yeah, that's right, yes. So Buddhism is everywhere. Buddhism is not just in a sutra. Everything is Buddhism. There's nothing that is not Buddhism. Helen Keller is full of the Buddhist teaching, and not necessarily the Buddhist teaching. As a matter of fact, when I see Helen Keller has that Buddha nature, could be a Buddha around already, could have been a Buddha already. No discriminations. Every sentient being has that Buddha nature in you. You have to review it. You have to find it. First of all, you have to take that spiritual odyssey to get into that path to see. You have that desire to see. Even though you fail in everything, you can appreciate life. Life is wonderful. Appreciate it. You can be the Buddha. You can be the Bodhisattva. You yourself can work it out.